The Hartley Show is an entertainment program and does not own any of the copyrighted material featured in this episode. All copyrighted material featured will be used as fair use for purposes of criticism, comment, news reporting, and/or research. Taki. Today on The Hartley Show, I'm going to be sitting right here talking about all these comics in my new monthly comic review thing that I'm going to do monthly. Hey, So we're going to start things off with the wonderful offering from Frank Miller, Batman Dark Knight 3, the continual abortion of Frank Miller's career. So as you can tell, I love this book. So I guess they came up with this clever idea of having little insert books in the middle of the thing, these goofy little things on the inside that have like they're attached through some sort of glue. They've done this in the past, and I like the glue approach, but mini comic inside of a comic, it does bother me to some degree. It seems goofy and superfluous and like a ridiculous little marketing scheme. You know, Frank Miller, at one point he said that one of the things he wanted to do after Dark Knight Returns was sort of fix Superman because he made him too much of a patsy. So in this version where he decided to fix Superman, Superman's decided that he's so tired of life and existence that he's just going to sit in the Fortress of Solitude until ice forms all around him. Because that's how you fix Superman. You make him a pathetic old codgin stupid pile of crap. I think it's just a cheap excuse for Batman to smash him with a hammer. Now, next up is some of the great stuff I'm enjoying at DC right now. This is Superman, Lois, and Clark. Now, this all continues on from the Convergence notion that a bunch of characters survived the original DC universe. And in this one, this is, well, not the original, the pre-Flashpoint DC universe. And in this, Superman and Lois Lane are still kicking around, but they have a kid now. And it turns out they've been hanging out in the New 52, the DCU with the Y, ever since basically, I think something like they've been around for maybe 6 years or something like that. But they've been hanging out with their son in secrecy. And this book is a hell of a lot of fun. Dan Jurgens is writing it, and it's great to see the pre-Flashpoint Lois and Clark that are married and all that stuff with the kid. Then with the kid kind of is obviously a dynamic they didn't have pre-Flashpoint, but enjoyable. Now next up we got Titans Hunt, sort of along the same veins as Convergence. After Convergence, it would appear that elements of the pre-Flashpoint DCU have bled back into the DCU. And in Titans Hunt, it's revealed that it turns out there was the original Titans that we sort of know and love and remember. And even though the current Donna Troy has only been around for a number of months, it turns out she has memories that go back further than that. And this has also given us a deeper look into Garth/Aqualad, who just made his first appearance in Aquaman during the DCU run by Colin Bunn, which was a great Aquaman run that everybody seemed to hate, and I suspect it was mostly because mostly because that artist was crap. Now, next up, we got another after effect from Convergence, Green Lantern. Now, in the current Green Lantern book, Green Lantern is facing Parallax, the pre-Zero Hour Parallax, or at least his Parallax during Zero Hour. I really enjoyed this issue quite a bit. It's all about Parallax meeting up with Hal Jordan, the current Hal Jordan from the DCU with the Y, and they express sort of the differences between his universe and Hal's universe. It seems like Hal has confirmed that most of the things we remember from the pre-Flashpoint destruction of Coast City did happen, but maybe he wasn't Parallax after all. It was a really fun issue, and I'm really enjoying seeing the pre-Flashpoint DCU characters hanging out in the modern DCU. Now, next up is the epitome of the Convergence after effects in Telos. Telos was the main sort of architect sort of slash bad guy of Convergence. The main bad guy overall who created him was in fact a version of Brainiac. But Telos, it turns out, is, spoiler alert, Arak, son of Stone. Son of Stone? Arak, anyways. I think it was his name.
Troy?
You know.
No idea.
Yeah, try it. Thanks for the fact check.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't read comics.
That, the Native American DC character that was around at the same time as the Warlord and all that. I'm enjoying the hell out of this book. As you can see from the cover, the Parallax is there as well. He's been using Captain Carrot and Captain Comet and all those cool DC captains. I'm enjoying the heck out of that book. Next up, oh boy, Omega Men. Holy crap, do I love this book. This is your classic example of a great comic book that nobody is really paying a lot of attention, or at least the main comic reader crowd isn't really paying attention to. And generally, when you create a book that's in space, unless you're Guardians of the Galaxy now, it doesn't sell well, or unless maybe you're Green Lantern. So this is basically the current take on Omega Men is they're sort of the freedom fighters of space. They are essentially terrorists, but one person's terrorist is another person's freedom fighter. The lead character in the book is essentially Kyle Rayner, and in this one, spoiler alert, he gets his ring back. It's really a great read. And it was canceled at one point. They were going to cut it off at issue 6, but they've decided to give it the full run for 12 issues so they can complete the story. And I'm telling you right now, this guy, Tom King, who I at one point confused with Jeff King, who writes Telos, is the guy who's also writing a book I'm going to talk about at some point, Vision. This guy is great, and he's now DC exclusive. Next up, we got Superman and Action Comics number 50. This is the end of the Truth storyline as far as Action Comics is concerned. Truth, of course, being the storyline where Superman loses the majority of his powers and he ends up essentially back to his Action Comics number 1 version with just super strength and sort of mild invulnerability, and he can leap and he's faster, but he doesn't have his vision powers and he's nowhere near the scope that he used to be. At this point, to restore his powers, he's using kryptonite to kill the cells that are bleeding the powers out of him, and it's restoring his old abilities and giving him some funky new abilities. By the time this issue is over, he restores himself back to his original glory, or at least the Fortress does, and he's wearing his suit again. The suit that was redesigned by John Romita Jr. that I much preferred to the original New 52 design, and less lines and less complicated. Hell of a fun book. I believe this storyline is going to wrap up fairly soon in Superman number 50. I might be wrong on that, but it's fun.
10:30. Go!
Infinity Entity number 1, Jim Starlin back on Warlock. Awesome. Spider-Man 2099. Yeah, each issue I wonder what's up with this, but then I remember Peter David's cool. This book's a hell of a lot of fun. All new Wolverine, the wrap up of this current first storyline. A fun book. And who knew Gal Wolverine could be so cool? Howard the Duck number 5. It doesn't totally suck. Power Man and Iron Fist number 1, The Return of Greatness. Really fun, although obscure art for people that were old fans of the Oz stuff. And oh, and apparently I put this in there twice. I'm an idiot.
Well.
Hey.
Now we're going to move on over to indie books. My favorite current indie book that isn't Copra, Surviving Megalopolis. Holy crap, is this book good. Now, Leaving Megalopolis was a book created by Gail Simone and this Callie Fiore guy on Kickstarter. A super fantastic book. The concept is essentially Megalopolis is a city populated by tons of superheroes. Some crazy thing happens that makes them almost like zombie-ified villains. They seem to be defying death to a certain degree because they still can be killed. But it's made them all completely evil, almost like Crossed. And in this latest miniseries through Dark Horse, it's all about what's been happening in Megalopolis. There's a sort of a search party that has gone into Megalopolis to retrieve some super rich billionaire, and all sorts of hijinks ensue. This book is fantastic. Next up, we got Black Magick. This is a fantastic book that's uniquely almost entirely black and white by Greg Rucka and Nicholas Scott. This is the story of a police officer who also happens to practice magic. And really, I can't say enough good things about this book. It's intelligent, the art is fantastic, and every now and then there's a little hint of color that seems to indicate the uses of magic. This police officer is, spoiler, I almost showed you the big spoiler there. She's, somebody's trying to expose her Wiccan lifestyle to sort of undermine her police presence and these sorts of things. I'm just going to do this so I don't spoil the last page of this, but they have this great bunch of text in the back of every issue so far, an additional story piece that's just like good old-fashioned reading without pictures, and it's got a great letter column. Love this book. It's a hell of a fun book. Highly recommended. Next up, my guilty pleasure from Image right now, Spawn. Now, I kind of hate Spawn, because Todd McFarlane kind of created this pastiche of everything that he just liked to draw and slammed it into this goofy character that was just, pappy, sort of, dry mouth, like too much peanut butter, I don't know. And right now we've got Eric Larson is doing the book with him, and I'm not going to claim that this book is anything fantastic, other than fun. It's a fun book. It's still the same old dumb Spawn you remember, still dealing with the same dumb old Spawn stuff. I fight demons and angst. But it's more fun now, because, hey, Eric Larson, Savage Dragon, right? Now, next up is Huck. which, as you may guess, has maybe something to do with, the old classic character. What was it? Huckleberry Hound?
Or Huckleberry Finn was the original.
Huckleberry Finn, yeah. I just wanted to hear Troy say Huckleberry Finn. Huck is the story of this remarkable character, Huck, who goes around the world performing these huge feats of heroism, and the big catch in this miniseries is somebody exposes him to the world because he was operating in secrecy. And what does that change about the world of Huck when people know about him? Read this book and find out. It's really, really fun. I can't wait to see this in the inevitable movie. We all know that that guy that always makes his movies, Mark Millar. Who is it? Vaughn. The Michael John Vaughn. What's his name? The Vaughn guy?
Okay, Vaughn? Vince Vaughn?
Vince Vaughn. Is that the guy? Well, the guy who made the Kick-Ass movie and the Kingsman and all that stuff.
Ding.
So the big whoop-de-doo-doo right now in the world of Marvel is this crossover storyline, Assault on Pleasant Hill, Avengers Standoff. It's a really fun storyline, and the basic concept behind this is Maria Hill. She was supposed to have disposed of a chunk of the Cosmic Cube, and she didn't. What she decided to do is create a sort of Pleasantville-like prison for super criminals where she recreates their personalities and their faces and their backstories to give them a sort of happily ever after. Almost a nod of the hat to Squadron Supreme by the late, great Mark Grenwald. And this is, of course, going to cross over into a whole bunch of Marvel stuff. I believe it's going to be the Uncanny Avengers. And, look, we got it in the back here somewhere. I'm sure it'll tell you where it is. Uncanny Avengers, all new, all different Avengers, new Avengers, Howling Commandos of S.H.I.E.L.D., and Captain America, Sam Wilson. It's a really fun book. I'm a big fan of this artist, Jesus Saez, I think his name is. Really fun stuff. Highly recommended, or at least mildly recommended. I guess I shouldn't say highly. I'm overselling a little bit there. This is Deadpool and his little mercenary group that includes guys like Le Peregrine and, Stingray and all sorts of fun guys like that. I may have just made up the part about Le Peregrine, but it even involves guys like this, from Captain Britain there, the old crazy gang with the Orf with the head, Queen chick and all that. A hell of fun. But one of the best things about this is Marvel does this every now and then. Well, they'll offer you 2 books for one. So this also included Spidey #1, which was really fun, but for sort of OCD super nerds like me, it's not necessarily in continuity, and that kind of bothered me a little bit. But hey, I got it for free, and a double for free. Next up, Avengers, the current all new, all different Avengers. As you can see from the cover, maybe the Vision's a bad guy in this. It seems like he's being used as a pawn by some sort of bad dude. One of the fun things about this current new Avengers book is that you've got this Thor, Lady Thor, Jane Foster Thor. Hopefully I didn't just spoil stuff for you, but if I did, you're way behind, dude. Catch up. With a female Thor, you get neat stuff like Thor kissing Captain America. How neat's that? And there's like a biracial thing where people get all flipped out and angsty about it. I'm quite enjoying this book. Mark Waid's fantastic. What's his name? Mahmoud Asrar. He's a fantastic artist from way back in the day, his Image stuff. Loving the heck out of this book. Highly recommended. And next up we got Invincible Iron Man by Brian Michael Bendis. Now, the thing I think I'm enjoying the most about Bendis' Iron Man right now, this is a step back for Bendis in the world of moving away from big team books. That his strength classically was focusing on one character, like his amazing seminal Daredevil run. And this is a step back in that direction for Michael Bendis. Us Brian Michael Bendis fans, I think we've been looking for this to happen for quite some time, where he sort of goes back to just one character. It seems to work a little better for him. And as you can see on the cover, MJ is in the book now. A great fun addition. Next up, this might be my favorite Marvel book, Squadron Supreme. Oh boy, is this fun. This is, of course, all the after effect of Secret Wars, where all these different characters come from different worlds that don't exist anymore, other than Hyperion, who come to the current Marvel U prior to Secret Wars in the old Avengers book. Man, is this book fun. In issue 1 or 2, big spoiler alert here, they kill off Namor. And in so doing, have sort of set themselves up as, again, sort of terrorists-like superheroes in the Marvel Universe. There's a big, huge twist. One of the lead characters betrays them all, which is leading to Thundra sort of taking her place in the book. Man, just a great, great book. And this is James Robinson. He's doing some really, really great stuff at Marvel right now. It's Scarlet Witch as well. Really fun stuff. Next up, we've got Red Wolf, a book that I'm really quite enjoying. I think this deserves a little bit more press. Red Wolf also came from Secret Wars. He was part of the Western town, and he's come from Secret Wars, transplanted into the modern day era. Of course, he's a fish out of water because he's from the Wild West days. He's never seen cars before, and he's generally just confused but still kicking ass. A really fun book that seems to sort of be focusing on a sort of funky little conspiracy going on in Dick F. Nowhere Marvel Universe. Really fun. Recommended. Notice that I didn't say highly. Yeah. And then we got The Vision. This book is just fantastic, and like I said earlier, I was going to talk about this. This is written by that King guy, that Tom King guy, who is going to get to finish his intended storyline with The Vision. I think it's going to end with issue number 12, now that he's exclusive with Marvel. And this is such a fun exploration. I remember when I first saw solicitation for The Vision, I thought, who wants to see a Vision book where he has his own little family and weird family of androids, and they're all like him? Why would you want to diminish the role of Vision? And boy, was I wrong. I couldn't have been more wrong. This book is just absolutely great. It is a real exploration of what it is to be a person, what it is to be AI, and the difficulties of integration with anybody that's different, be it android or human. Just fantastic. I almost can't recommend a Marvel book more than this. The latest issue of Olympians. This is one of my favorite things in the world, and this generally gives Carlo a boner. This is the book that focuses on my personal favorite Greek god, Apollo. And let me tell you, man, woe to anyone that has Apollo get kind of horny over them. Things aren't going to end out very well for them. These stories are amazing. It's remarkable how O'Connor manages to take the old mythology, the old Greek mythology, and make it feel absolutely modern and relevant. It blows me away, each and every one of these. And as I've sort of covered in the past, one of the cool things that he does is the back of the book is great. He has a very extensive bibliography. The author always writes about his process of creating these characters. He has sort of these little character card sheet kind of things that give you an explanation of the sort of details about them. Things like, the heavenly body that describes them, the day of the week that is owed to them. For instance, Apollo. The day of the week here is owing to his association with the sun, Sunday. Little things too at the end, like little notes and whatnot. And then he has this cool thing that is designed for basically for schoolrooms and discussions. He has a for discussion page. Did I just say discussion right? I said discussing, didn't I? Discussion. You know what I'm saying? Just great. Now, the one thing about these books is that you don't regularly find them in comic stores. They are available in bookstores and through Amazon. If you do want them through your comic store, I do believe you can go and ask them for it and they get them for you. But generally, these don't end up in comic stores unless you ask for them. And next up, I wanted to bring up in the world of collected editions, I've been just hammering through the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comics. Man, are these books fun. This is, of course, the reinvention of TMNT through IDW. Kevin Eastman is still involved in the whole thing. This storyline introduces the Bebop and Rocksteady characters that I always hated until now. They found a way to make them cool and have nothing to do with that old stupid cartoon. I know a bunch of you are going to give me crap for it, but come on, that old cartoon was stupid. And then, I just recently reread this. Warren Ellis is one of my favorite writers of all time. This is Wolverine, Not Dead Yet. I got a great deal on this used, and man, this did not read nearly as well as I remember it reading. This, I think, is probably going to end up as one of my least favorite Warren Ellis reads of all time. Sorry, Mr. Ellis, you're not going to watch this anyways, and this is unfortunately kind of crap. It's mildly entertaining, but emphasis on mildly. It's kind of cliche. Lineal Francis Yu, this is one of the first things he did. His art is kind of bunky too, and so I do not recommend this. So there you have it. Comic reviews from this old turd. As always, a giant thanks to you for watching, and a big thanks to those that have donated already to our Kickstarter campaign. If you haven't donated, we're pretty needy, and we could really use your money. You don't have to give us a whole bunch. $5 is enough. That'll make us happy, right, guys? $5. We can live with $5. I'm getting absolutely nothing from the people around me. As always, a giant thanks to Taz, and I think I already said thanks for watching, so thanks for watching.